Are you using social media as a creative professional? Are you missing tons of opportunities because you're not DMing and reaching out to people, developing real relationships with your peers and people who could potentially hire you? And what do you do to stand out in a sea of hundreds of thousands of designers who are all doing the same thing? Hi, I'm Matthew Encina, and in this episode of Young Guns, Christo sits down with the designers to go over their challenges with social media and how they present their personal brand online and how they use it to develop business for the future. Sit back and enjoy this coaching session with Christo and the Young Guns.
So, Megan, what's your question?
Hey, Chris. So I am no longer enjoying Instagram, and I'm considering deleting my account to focus on other platforms that I resonate with a little better.
Okay.
So my question to you is, do you think it's possible to have a design business without an Instagram? And if you believe it's crucial, then what are some recommendations you have for enjoying the platform a little bit more?
Okay. Tell me why you're not enjoying Instagram anymore.
Well, first of all, I feel like my work isn't really very consistent. So I think it's hard to curate an Instagram when all of my branding projects have been really diverse. And I'm also feeling like I'm making content just because I feel like I have to make content. And I don't think that's a really good way to approach Instagram. If you're not enjoying what you're posting, I think people can see through that, and it doesn't feel very genuine.
Okay.
So I've been trying to work through, like, is it because I'm insecure about the things I'm posting? Do I feel overwhelmed by looking at other designers? So I've really been trying to tackle like the core of why I don't like the platform, but I also feel like putting all that pressure on myself is just pulling me even further away from wanting to, like, I don't even like looking at other people's stuff anymore.
Wow. Okay. There's a lot to talk about here. This pressure that you feel, where's it coming from?
I think one was being on the show, because I was getting a lot of new followers from being on The Future, and that was really awesome. But then I was like, oh, suddenly I have all these eyes on me, and I feel like I need to be posting design stuff. And I was still like building my design account at the time and really figuring out what style I want to do and the types of clients I want to work with. So I felt like, okay, I can see, like, I know what makes a good Instagram. I know how to make a feed flow, but I'm struggling within my own work to pull these pieces together.
Okay. Just for the people who are following along with this conversation, what is your Instagram handle?
Well, right now I have Mindful Pursuits, which is like my personal account.
Okay. Mindful Pursuits. I'm checking right now. There you are. You have 47 posts, right? You have.
I like went through and tried to clean some out too.
You have 1,500, almost 1,600 followers. Good. Okay, you're doing good. Look at that. There's a picture of us already. Well, how did that happen?
I think you commented on it.
Okay, there it is. And I'm wearing the same hat. Oh my gosh, we're very, very consistent. Okay, I see. All right, I'm looking at it here. Okay, there you are. I think you're doing fine. Where's the pressure coming from? I don't get it. Just because people are looking, I mean, isn't that what we want? This is one of the big problems of social media, because we are looking at people living these wonderful lives, so we think, but we need to realize a big portion of this is highly curated, and it's not actually a reflection of reality. It could be easy to mistake these wonderful posts as, gosh, like why isn't my life so wonderful? Why don't I have such amazing friends, and why aren't I doing incredibly cool things as everybody else seems to be doing? So can you stay on a platform and just not worry about what other people are doing?
I mean, I feel like I can personally, but I wonder how it affects my business. Like, I feel like if I had a curated Instagram for my design stuff, then I could possibly get new clients, or at least have a little bit of like validation from having a following. Like, if I'm working for someone, as in maybe creating posts for their Instagram, like if I'm designing things for their Instagram, I feel like it would be appropriate if I had an Instagram also. But I don't like it. And I don't know how. I'm like, is it okay if I just don't have one? Like, if I make a business card, is it okay if I don't have an Instagram account?
Yeah, 100%. Totally okay. So what I'm hearing from you is the big question, which is it critical for you as a creative entrepreneur, creative business person to have Instagram or not? Is it okay? And of course the answer is yes, it's okay for you not to have it because it's a long game you're playing. It's a fantasy to think that you make a couple of beautiful posts and somebody will hire you right off the bat. I mean, that can happen, but that would be the exception versus the rule. And what you want to do is get into the habit of being a content creator, and you want to work on the platform that makes the most sense for you. And in general, I would advise against doing anything like this that's creating all kinds of stress for you, that is making you not be able to be a happy, productive person. But I think it's more of the lens in which you look at this that impacts it versus what's really there.
I want to be sure it's not just because I'm insecure about making content, or, I want to make sure that it isn't an underlying reason for why I'm so against being on this platform right now.
Yeah.
But it does also, like, I've taken courses on Instagram and I have
gosh.
a lot into making content, but then I struggle with, okay, a lot of designers follow design accounts. So am I creating content for designers, or am I creating content for clients? And if it's for designers, then it's like not even your business anymore. Like,
Okay. That's a very good question and a good observation. There's obviously differing viewpoints on this, even with guests that we bring on the show. Here's the benefit of posting on social media. Yes, you will gain people who like to do what you do. That makes a lot of sense. And clients may not be there initially, and that's totally okay. But here's the cool thing. People see this and then they're excited by you and your story, and they invite you to come on their podcast. They invite you to speak at a panel, or they want to do something with you, a collaboration. And it's the game of getting known. And this is just one way of getting known, because people can't hire you if they don't know who you are. So you don't want to be the world's best kept secret in terms of a design resource. You don't want that. And what I would encourage you to do is just to engage with other people on Instagram in a real, genuine way without an ulterior motive. Can you do that?
Yeah, that's all I want to do. That's why I haven't wanted to share much about my business, because I don't really, like, if I have an audience of designers, then I want to talk about like the pressures of freelancing or things that they might be struggling with, like be more of a supportive voice in the design community.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wasn't sure, like, then it feels like a lot of effort into something that, I mean, it still has value to me and to other people, but it's not to do with my business.
Okay. I want you to look at your Instagram feed and a lot of your social media stuff as a form of public journaling. You don't care what you write in your book, right? It's for you. Here's how I'm feeling. Here's a win for me today. Here's a lesson I learned. Here's something that sparked some joy inside of me. Just put that out there. And don't stress out if people respond to it right now. You're still pretty early in on your life and your career and on social media. It's too early to say, this is what I'm all about. And it's totally okay to then later on delete what you don't like, and it's fine. Okay? And if you need to take a break, take a break.
Been on a break for a while, I feel like.
It's okay. Take a longer break. There's no pressure. Now, let's figure out what to post. What should we post? So this is over time. You'll figure out what your voice is and what you want to talk about and what makes sense to your community and your people. Okay? The ideal way to do this is to start to bring those two worlds together, where there's you. I don't think you're on vacation, but maybe you are. Like you on vacation and you at work. Can we bring those two things together? Somebody who does a really good job of this is Gemma O'Brien. Do you know Gemma O'Brien?
Mm-mm.
Go check her out. Okay, it's Gemma, 2 M's, Gemma, Gemma O'Brien. Check her out. She's a lettering artist, and she does all kinds of workshops, and she integrates herself into the post in a way that feels super organic, and it feels very consistent. Gemma's got a pretty huge following on social media, and she does really awesome projects. Are you looking her up right now? It's Mrs. Eves 101, and she has 217,000 followers, and you can see how she puts herself in the work.
Yeah.
And that's what you want to do. So maybe that's a template for you to follow. So here's one thing that I like to do. I like to see people who are very, very successful. It doesn't matter if I like their work or if I even like their personality. I'll reverse engineer what I think is working for them and pull out an abstract framework. So if they're posting a product against a white background, I'll try to post a product with a white background. I study it. So this is another way to turn perhaps you being envious of people's social following or their fabulous lifestyles and then just reverse engineer. A Jim Rohn quote here is success leaves clues. Just pick up the clues.
Yeah.
Instead of sitting there saying, oh, I'm so far away from that person and they're doing such great work and I'm not there yet, just follow. It'll be okay. Pick up those clues. Yeah. And the thing is, everybody starts somewhere, Megan.
Yeah.
Everybody does. It doesn't happen overnight. And unfortunately, we only become aware of people who are already super popular, famous, and great. Right? Because when they're not any good, nobody follows them. And then they begin this process, this journey, and they build expertise over time. And you can do that. Okay?
Yeah.
Please don't let the social media stuff depress you or bum you out or create anxiety for you. That's probably a side effect of social media, but we can work over that if we change our lens. Okay, let me switch gears. I will now talk to Anastasia, and then we'll come back to you, and we'll see what else you want to know. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So in one of your recent videos, you had somebody ask you a question about how to get a job in a new city. And you said, don't email them, DM them. So my question is, how do you go from, hey, I like your work, to I want to work for you? How does this transition go in when you message this person or this studio that you like?
Okay. Well, if you like them, we're building a relationship. So what we don't want to do is we don't want to rush the relationship. You've been in relationships before where people rush you to make a decision, to order food or to do something else, to go on vacation with them. It's a lot of pressure. And I think first and foremost, we should just learn how to build genuine relationships with people. So when you're DMing them, try to be specific. And you have to remember, there's a good chance that they're getting 20, 30, maybe 100 messages a day that sound just like yours. So if you come in with something super generic, like, hi, how are you? I like your work. You're going to sound just like everybody else. So if you can pinpoint why, tell me why, tell me something very specific. Show me that you've taken the time to pay attention to what it is that I'm doing, then begin there. So what could that sound like? Do you have any ideas as to what you might write instead of just saying, I like your work? What do you think?
Maybe comment on specific work and explain exactly how I like it. But then I'm thinking, they don't consider me an expert, right? I'm just some random person on the
Yes,
internet.
you are.
So why should my opinion matter at all, right? Like, they are cool, I'm not. So why should it matter that I say their work is good? They know it's good.
Yes.
What kind of messages do you get that
Oh,
send
should
out
I read my
all
messages? Oh my God, I should read my messages to you. But I don't know if I'm the freakazoid or I'm normal or I'm abnormal, whatever, but I get messages all the time. I'll tell you the messages I don't like. People who just say, how are you? I'm like, I'm fine. It's end of a conversation. Maybe there's something much more interesting. So when somebody tells me something personal about them or why they connect to what it is that I'm doing, it gives me an opportunity to talk to them. Okay, so it doesn't matter if they're experts. First of all, let's just get over this part. How often do you think these super popular, famous people are likely to go and look you up and see if you're an expert? The probability is pretty low. So your worry is unfounded. Most of the times, I don't even check who it is. I see a message, I respond to them, I move on with my life. If they say something really interesting, or if their thumbnail, their picture is like so weird and odd, I'm like, who is this weirdo? I want to check this person out. And then I'll check them out. And it's like, oh my God, you do really great work. And I'll follow them. Let's just pretend it's you and me and we don't have a relationship. Like, we don't know each other. What would you say to me to get my attention?
Okay, I could say, hi, Chris, I really like, and then I would say, let me remember some video that I really liked. I really like the Build a Brand series, and it helped me in a way that I learned what kind of questions I need to ask my clients. And it helped me, in that way. Okay,
and then I would type in, awesome.
Yeah.
That's it. And then what else?
And that's it. I probably wouldn't respond to that, but I'd be like, oh, Chris Doe messaged me back.
Okay, don't do that. Don't do that. I mean, you can do that, but don't worry. That's not gonna. Okay, so let's pretend we're Facebook messengering each other right now. Like, where would we go with this? I would say awesome, and that would be it. And then what's your next message?
Okay. In this scenario, I'm trying to get a job at Future, right?
No, you're just trying to build a relationship with me
Maybe.
first. Don't worry. No, get that out of your mind. Get that out of your mind. Okay.
I do not know what, because I mean, obviously I could write like a bunch of things about myself, but that's like kind of
No, don't do that
something
yet.
about, yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so generally speaking, you want to ask me a question
Okay.
that opens me up to answer something that might be of interest to you. Are you familiar with the Socratic process?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
for our audience who doesn't know, you're going to ask me a question that's fairly easy for me to answer that follows some kind of logical path to a conclusion that you want, right?
hmm
So in your mind, maybe 7 or 8 conversations from now, you may want to start to talk about work.
Okay.
So what kinds of questions might you want to ask me that would lead me to that conclusion at some point?
Do you have any job openings? No, this is stupid. No, that's
That's an excellent
Okay.
question. And then I can only say yes or no, right?
right.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Let's reverse engineer it. What kind of job do you want from me? You want to work with branding firms, right?
Yes.
Any particular country or state or city or anything?
Well, that's the thing. There are a few places that I want to work at, but they're all from like I would need to have work visa for.
Okay.
to be
Okay.
work at all of them.
Slow down, girl.
Like, even harder to do.
Hold on. You're like spinning out of control as soon as I ask you a question. It's like, did you have too much coffee?
I did not. I
Okay.
didn't drink coffee.
Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna just take a deep breath. So if you want to begin a dialogue with them, what I would suggest that you do is to start looking into their different online profiles on LinkedIn. You can go and look at the company. You can look at the different roles. I don't know if you know this, but if you look them up by the company, they usually list everybody that works there, and then you can see their titles. So we're looking for someone who might be in a decision or in a position to make a decision as to who to hire. Chances are, if it's really big companies, it'll be called human resources. It might be somebody like with a director title in them. Like sometimes it's creative director, art director. Maybe there's a recruitment title. I don't know. You're looking for somebody like that, okay? And chances are it's human resources, and you can start there. You got to think about who is helping this company find new and emerging talent just like myself. Okay? So it's one thing to look at the big company's work, but you never know who's managing the social account for that. And you can find out really quickly by DMing them and saying, I love your work. I'm inspired by this project that you did. I'm curious as to how you find new designers to work with.
Oh.
See?
Yes, that's good.
So then they're going to say, well, you're going to need to talk to Bobby or Mary or Jake or Dolph or whatever, and in HR. That's who you're going to want to talk to, right? Or they can say, well, we recruit twice a year at this job fair, and guess where Anastasia will be next job fair?
Right.
You'll be right there in front of their face. So what we need to do is just look at that. So what I'm trying to do is to get you to think about the world from the other person's point of view. Try to use all your powers of imagination, empathy. And it's like, what are they thinking about? Now, I want to tell you about a totally different concept. I said, yeah, go ahead and DM them. But there's this idea that I picked up from Alan Dibb in his book, One Page Marketing Plan. He says that old-fashioned mail really cuts through the clutter. So he says, send them lumpy mail that's not flat, something that's inside that sticks out, because people are very curious now. So mail used to be filled up with junk mail. And now that there's a cheaper, more viable platform like social media and DMing, people have abandoned mail. So you can go back into a place and think about something that you could send them that gets their attention.
Oh, okay. So maybe something from my portfolio printed out. in a cool
Maybe.
way?
It would be better if you can send them something that helps them.
Okay. Yeah.
Remember? You're still, I want a
Right.
job. I want a job. Hire
Yeah.
me. Okay? Right? Something. If you notice a pattern, if you watch people, if you spend time with people, your mom, your sister, your cousin, your brother, whoever it is, you notice patterns about them and you want to be thoughtful. And when it comes to a holiday or a birthday or something, you get them something that they would like, right?
Yeah.
Because you know them. What you don't want to do is give them a gift that you like.
Yes.
And that's what you would be essentially doing by sending a self-promotional piece. So you want to do something that's unique and different, that stands out from other people. The more personal you can make it, the more you can take into consideration the other person versus yourself, the more likely they're going to say, wow, she's really taking the time to get to know me. This is kind of cool. That's very thoughtful.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't take much. It won't take much. The fact that you even sent a letter to begin with and you write it by hand, people will appreciate. And people, like the current batch of interns, they were asked to make a video, and some of them made really funny videos. And so one of them sitting right now, right here, cutting this video for us. He made a funny video. He said, hey, I watched the show. I know about you guys. And he made this funny little thing. And as soon as I saw him, I told Matthew, hire him. Bring him in. The same thing with
Mm-hmm.
our other interns. The exact same thing. They made some effort. They showed the personality, and they showed that they knew something about us, which really impressed us. And that's really all it takes.
So the formula is to use my skills that they would, like Ricky did, right? That they would want to use maybe, and then show personality and be unique and try to imagine what they would want to see.
Yeah. And it doesn't take a lot. It does not take a lot. I'll give you one more example. Let's say the person you're following really loves coffee. This one's easy. I just needed some time to think about this, right? You can send them a very small batch of vacuum packed coffee beans that you love, maybe from your country.
Yeah.
Right? Or you could say, if it was an American person, let's say they love coffee or something, and you can print out on top of dollar bills some kind of cool design or stamp on it and send it to them. Like, here, the next cup of coffee is on me.
Oh, wow. That's very nice.
You see what happens? Like, each time I say that to you, what's happening inside of you right now?
I feel like the person who would get that would have those warm feelings inside. Like,
Yeah. Like, right.
That's so thoughtful.
See? And it's not even you. We're just imagining right now.
Yeah.
So if it was really sent to you, you would say, wow, this is really nice.
Yeah. And I could, if, for example, I would be traveling there, I could deliver it in person. That would be even better, right?
Well, you could send that first. Because don't think of it like I got one shot and it's over. Like I say, you're building a relationship. If you included your card in that envelope with some beans, they might reach out and just say thank you. And I would write a handwritten note. Say, this is not a bribe. This is not a bribe. I am looking for work. And your studio inspires me. Please let me know if there's anything I can do to help.
This is so perfect. I'm going to say exactly the same. And then they're going to see
this episode. No, it's okay. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's your idea or not. What matters is you made the effort to take the steps or say the words. That's what matters. It's effort. That's what people care about. Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
You good?
Yes.
Okay. Look, people who are watching Young Guns and seeing you guys, and I think you inspire a lot of people out there, especially female designers who see themselves in you. I want to thank you both, especially on behalf of myself and the entire team, Matthew and Ricky, who are working so hard to make this series happen. There's a lot of things that are happening behind the scenes that you guys aren't aware of. And I just want to take a moment to express my gratitude. I appreciate you. I think you guys are going to be rock stars if you just stay true to what it is that you want and start to ignore some of the noise in the opinions of others. Just get rid of it. Stay true to your course. And I can't wait to talk to you in 5 years. I really can't. I'm glad that you guys chose this format so that I can try to help you as much as I can. Thank you for being the brave souls that you are. I wish you nothing but the very best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Don't be
you.
strangers on
Bye.
social media.
Yeah.
And you could DM me to say hi. That's okay. Everybody else don't do that.
So that's the end of today's episode between Christo and the Young Guns as they discuss social media. As you can tell from today's episode, it's a little tricky to navigate your online presence, your personal brand, and how you might move forward in your career online. So what are the key takeaways from today's episode? Takeaway number 1, if something doesn't feel right, don't post it. But don't underestimate the value of being a content creator online. You could use it to develop new business and relationships with people as you grow in your career. Creating content around the things that you do and the things that you learn help enroll people into your journey. You can build an audience around that potentially could be fruitful in the future, or you can just make friends online and get into a community of people that are just like you. Takeaway number 2, DM is the new email. Like it or not, this is how a lot of conversations and business development is actually going on online these days. But the thing is, there's a key approach that you should take. Be a good human being. Be genuine, be curious, and ask clear and direct questions. Think about the person on the other side and have some empathy for them. What are they going to value? What are they going to get out of the relationship? And approach it with that lens. By doing that, you'll be able to connect one-to-one connections with people that you might not have had access to many years ago. One of the examples Chris had shared today was that a previous intern had created a very special video and directly messaged that to Chris. In it, it showcased his understanding of the brand, what we're all about, what we value, and actually gave Chris a laugh. That was so memorable for Chris that person became an intern here at The Futur eventually. Don't underestimate the value of doing something unique to genuinely connect with the other person on the other side of your DM. That's the end of today's episode. Don't forget to check out the other episodes of Young Guns, which we've linked here. And next week will be our final episode, so don't forget to tune in for that. If you found something in particular that was insightful or have a question about something that was discussed, don't forget to leave a timestamp comment below. We'll see you on the last episode of Young Guns next week.